Hi, everyone. For today's Monday class, I thought I would share this practice outside. It's finally starting to feel like spring is here on the East Coast, minus a few mishaps here and there. So you might hear a little bit of wind, a little bit of birds. That's just nature doing its thing. I've found during this time it's been really beneficial for me to get as much outside time as possible. And again, this practice is short. We're going to explore a little bit of chest openers, a little bit of really gentle, mild back bends. Nothing too complex. However, I always want to encourage you if you're ever working with any injury, any medical condition, any sort of pain, you really want to get that cleared by any sort of health clinician, your doctor, just to make sure that these movements are suitable for you. We always, always, always want to emphasize length over depth when we're working with opening our chest, when we're working on taking a back bend. So you'll hear me at different times throughout this practice talk about lengthening, reaching our heart forward, lifting our heart up. And we always want to do that before we bend just to protect the vertebra of the spine, right? We don't want those vertebrae to get compressed or get pinched in any way, that isn't healthy for us. So always, 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 if anything feels weird, go slow, go at your own pace, and take your time. So we'll start in a comfortable seated position. You can come to a cross-legged position, organizing your feet and your shins. And then go ahead and move the tissues underneath your seat, underneath your sit bones, so that you can feel contact with the mat, feel contact with the floor and foundation under you. Let your hands rest on your thighs. And from here, close your eyes. Start to turn your attention to your breath by following the lengths of your inhales and your exhales. So drawing the air in through your nostrils, filling your lungs, your torso, all the way to the bottom of your abdomen, the bottom of your belly. That space where you're making contact with the mat. And as you exhale, releasing every last drop of breath, allow the shoulders to soften, the jaw to become heavy, and for you to feel a little bit more rooted and connected in your seat. Move through a few more cycles of breath, setting an intention for this practice. If that serves you, if that's something that's useful. Something that as you move your body through these postures during this time can support you in staying present. It can be something big like gratitude or love, or it can be something as simple as your breath. The way the mat feels underneath your hands and your feet. Now from here, let the eyes start to open. And go ahead and change the crossing of your shins. So the opposite forearm, the opposite shin comes in front. Inhale here, reach the arms forward and up. And as you exhale, take a twist to the right. And as you do that, as you breathe in, lift the heart, sit tall through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, you can wind into the twist a little bit further. Maybe you glance over the right shoulder, or just let the gaze, the head, land where it naturally wants to. And breathe. Inhale, unwind yourself, reach back up. And as you exhale, take that twist over to the left. With the emergence of spring, there's also the emergence of all of the flies and creatures making themselves busy. So same thing on this side. As you inhale, sit tall through the crown of the head and lift the heart to lengthen the torso. And as you exhale, twist a little further if it's there for you. Inhale, unwind, reach back up through center, lifting the heart, maybe glancing up at the hands. And exhale, release the arms, uncross your legs, make your way onto all fours. We'll take a few cat-cow breaths here. And take your time with this, placing the hands and wrists under the shoulders, placing the knees underneath the hips. Inhale, drop the belly, let the heart reach forward, the collarbones and shoulders spread away from one another. And as you exhale, press into the hands, press into the tops of the feet to lift the back, lengthen the spine. Move on your own breath. Inhale, the belly becomes heavy, the tailbone and crown of the head float up. And exhale, creating space in between the shoulder blades, in between each individual vertebra of the spine. Using the breath to initiate the movement. And then coming back to a neutral spine, move the knees away from one another, bring the big toes to touch, sit the hips back to the heels, child's pose. So settling your sit bones back towards your heels, allowing the elbows and forearms just to rest against the floor, against the mat, rest the forehead. If this isn't a comfortable pose for you or you're dealing with any low back or hip issues, you can always just sit upright. So taking a comfortable seated position. And from here, start to walk the fingers forward. Now, plant the hands, spread the fingers away from one another. So the elbows have started to straighten, the forearms lift away from the mat. Inhale, float back up to all fours. Tuck your toes under and exhale, press your way up and back to downward dog. 5 breaths here. So take your time to set yourself up. Allow the heels to be heavy. Any sensation in the low back or hamstrings that isn't comfortable, you can take a slightly wider stance and softly bend the knees. Now from here, press the thighs back. So press the muscles on the fronts of your legs back, press the thigh bones back, and then again, allow the heels to be heavy. We do this so that we can lengthen the spine. Release the head, release the neck. And on your next inhale, slowly walk the feet forward to meet the hands, coming into a forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, reach the heart forward, lengthen the back. Exhale, fold. Root the feet, inhale, reach the arms around and up, stand tall. Mountain pose. Now from here, release the arms, adjust your stance. You can keep the feet a hip's distance apart, or you can bring the inner edges of the feet to touch. And we'll take a few sun breaths here together. Inhale, reach the arms around and up. Lift the heart as you lengthen the sides of the waist. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening the heart forward, lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold. Root the feet. Inhale, reach the arms around and up. Reach the arms long as if you could lift the shoulders away from your rib cage. And exhale, release the arms. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway left, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Root the feet. Inhale, reach the arms around and up. And exhale, release. And building on that, inhale, reach the arms around and up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands and step the feet back to plank pose, coming into top of a push-up here. So draw the shoulders away from the wrists. Your wrists are under your shoulders. You can always lower the knees here, it's early. But whichever, whether you lower the knees or whether they stay lifted, draw the belly up toward the spine. Press the thighs away from the floor and then reach back through your heels as you reach forward from your heart. So from the center of your chest, reach forward. Keep the gaze slightly in front of the mat and reach the heels back. So there's this constant back and forth to create as much length as possible. Breathe. I know you're holding this. And as you exhale, slowly bend the elbows, lower yourself all the way to the mat. Nice job. Release the feet so the tops of the feet are making contact with the mat. Now from here, your hands are framed on either side of the rib cage. Reach back through all 10 toes to lengthen the legs. All right, lengthen the body back toward the back of the mat. And notice as you do that, the leg muscles sort of fire on. So your quadriceps, the big muscle groups on the fronts of your thighs are working here. The knees lift. Reach back through your toes and peel your heart, the center of your chest forward as you float the shoulders up. Baby, baby, baby cobra, Bhujangasana. Working to draw the heart and shoulders up away from the mat. Inhale and exhale, release. Tuck your toes and press your way up and back to downward dog. 3 breaths. Setting yourself up. Allowing there to be fluidity and adjustment in these poses. Inhale, reach the right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step it forward in between the hands, lower the left knee. Keep the left toes tucked or release the left foot as you inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Now, draw your right hip back, let your left hip shift forward and reach the arms long. All right, reaching up toward the ceiling. You can glance up, but take care with the neck, all right? You don't have to drop the skull back, but you can lift the gaze as if it were looking at something at the top of the wall in front of you. Breathe. Now, as you reach the arms high, allow that to lift and lengthen the rib cage. Now, keep that lift as you release your arms and interlace them behind the low back. Draw your belly toward your spine, so firm the belly in toward the body. Inhale, continue to lift the chest as you take that same movement in your shoulders that we just did against the floor. Think baby cobra in the shoulders. Nice job, breathe. Inhale, lift the heart up and release the hands. Frame the right foot and step back to downward dog. Inhale, draw the shoulders forward over the wrist, plank pose. Pause here for a breath to draw the body away from the floor, belly up and in, legs press up. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, lower yourself down, release the feet. Reach back through all 10 toes again, create that length always first. Press the tops of your feet into the mat as you reach the heart forward and up. Shoulders lift, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Make your way up and back to downward dog. Inhale, left leg reaches up and back behind you. Exhale, step it forward in between the hands. Lower the right knee. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Low lunge. Draw the left hip back. Let the right hip shift forward. Lengthen the arms long again here. Lift the heart, lift the shoulders. Glance high. And now keeping that length, really reaching up above you, maintain that length in the sides of the waist and release the hands. Interlace them behind the low back, opposite thumb on top. Draw the belly toward the spine. The belly stays strong, so drawing it into the body. Inhale, lift the heart, peel the shoulders back, baby cobra. Exhale, lift up, release the hands, frame the left foot, step back to downward dog. Inhale, draw the shoulders forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower down, release the feet, reach back through your toes. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Inhale, reach the heart forward and up, baby cobra. And exhale, press the toes and make your way up and back to downward dog. 3 breaths. On your next breath in, inhale, walk the feet forward to meet the hands. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening the back, reaching the heart forward. Exhale, fold. Root the feet. Inhale, float the arms around and up, stand tall. And exhale, release. Now, as we move through this next sequence, you have the option to always lower your body to the floor, to the mat, and move through baby cobra. This time I'm going to take you through chaturanga and through upward facing dog. However, if that's too deep, if this back bend feels enough for you, if the one that we've been doing is fine, then stay with that. Again, build within your own range. It's different for everyone on any given day. So from mountain pose at the top of your mat, your feet are parallel with one another, either touching or a hips distance apart. Inhale, bend the knees, sit the hips down and back as you reach the arms forward and up, chair pose, Utkatasana. Press the shins back to shift the weight into the heels and sink the sit bones a little bit lower. And as you do that, reach the arms longer, lift the heart, take the gaze up again if it's there for you, glancing high. And as you exhale, release the body forward. Inhale, lengthen the back, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank pose. We'll stay here for one breath. Inhale, lifting the body away from the mat. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower down halfway, chaturanga. The arms are strong, the belly is strong. Inhale, upward facing dog, pressing into the tops of the feet to reach the heart forward and up. And exhale, downward facing dog. Nice job. Can always move on your own breath through these poses. Take care to keep the breath long. On your next breath in, reach the right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step it forward in between the hands, lower the left foot. Reach the arms forward and up, making your way into warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Bend into the right knee and press the outer edge of the left foot down. And as you do that, press the left inner thigh back. So the hips want to turn open to the left here. That's okay. Twist the belly and the chest back toward the top of the mat. So the legs are strong. We're keeping the weight as even as possible in both legs. Now from here, lengthen the arms. Similar to what we did in that low lunge. The legs are strong. Lengthen the arms to lift the heart. Gaze high. Draw the belly in toward the body and toward the spine and release the hands. Interlace them behind the low back. The belly's strong. Keep the work in the abdomen. Inhale, lift the heart. Drape the shoulders back. And as you inhale, lift the torso, lift the shoulders, release the hands. Frame the right foot as you pivot onto the ball of the left foot and step back to downward dog. We'll take that on the other side. Inhale, float the left leg up and back behind you. Exhale, step it forward in between the hands. Lower the right foot flat. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up, warrior one. As you bend into the left knee, press the right inner thigh back, rooting the right foot down on the outer edge. The hips want to open to the right. Take care to twist the belly and the chest back toward the top of the mat. So there's a really nice spinal twist going on here. And as you bend and sink into the legs, lift the arms high, reach high above you, as if you could lift and grab hold of something overhead to create space in the hips and the shoulders. The belly strong. Exhale, release the hands, interlace them behind you, opposite thumb on top. Draw the belly in toward the body. Inhale, lift the heart, peel the shoulders back. Take that subtle back bend. There's no need to go super far back here. The legs are strong. Breathe. Inhale, float up, release the hands, frame the left foot as you pivot onto the ball of the right foot and step back to downward dog. Nice job, you guys. Press the thighs back, draw the hips away from the shoulders, lengthen the back, and release the head and neck as best as you can. You can gently turn the head one way and then the other as if you were shaking the head no. Gently draw the chest toward the body as if you were nodding the head yes. On your next inhale, float the shoulders forward over the wrists, plank pose. Inhale, draw the body up and away from the mat. Exhale, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale through upward facing dog. And exhale, through downward facing dog. And breathe. On your next inhale, hop or step the feet forward. You're parallel with one another. Bend the knees, float the torso forward and up, chair pose. Same thing, shift the shins back to bring the weight into the back of the feet. Sit a little lower as you reach the arms longer. The legs are strong. The gaze is high. Breathe. Loosen the jaw. Check in with your intention. And on your next inhale, straighten the knees, release the arms. Nice job. You can roll the shoulders back. Make the head a little looser, the neck a little looser. Draw right ear to right shoulder, chin to your chest, left ear, left shoulder, and back around to the front. Take your time. Allow your breath and your circulation to normalize. And then slowly take your time, make your way down to your mat. We'll come all the way onto our backs. So bend your knees and plant your feet. And roll down onto your back. You can let the hands rest on the body, one on your belly, one on your heart, as you just get used to being down here after moving through all those standing postures. Set your feet up so that they're hips distance apart. So there's space in between your legs, in between your knees. You can even take a look. Your heels are in line with your sit bones. Now go ahead and let the arms rest alongside the body with the palms facing up. And from here, draw your shoulder blades underneath your upper back. Notice how that spreads the chest. That gives you space for your lungs, for your heart. Now soften the belly. We're going to make our way into bridge pose. And again, continue to adjust the upper arms underneath the upper back. So not only now are you drawing your shoulder blades together, but you're actually rolling the upper arm underneath the upper back, as if you were laying on top of your biceps. Feel the floor underneath your feet, underneath your heels, underneath the balls of your feet. And on your next inhale, press into your feet and press into your upper back and upper arms to lift the hips away from the mat. Now, once you're up, once the hips are up, you can draw the upper arms underneath the back even more. And you can interlace your hands underneath the low back, underneath the sacrum, the back of your pelvis, even more. Or you can do that, not that you were doing it before. Now take care, notice what's going on in the legs. We actually want the glutes to try to let go a little bit and see if you can keep the hips lifted by pressing into your feet and pressing into the upper back and the upper arms. The glutes, the glute maximus, the glute medius, those are some of the largest muscle groups in the body and they want to do all the work here. So can we take a little bit of work away from them? And you don't want to just thrust your pelvis up towards the ceiling, right? We want the front of the body to stay a little bit soft. And when you're here, breathe. Continue to fill not only the lungs, but the belly and the gut. And as you exhale, can you loosen the jaw and the face? And on your next exhale, unclasp the hands and lower yourself down. Place the hands on the body, heel toe the feet a little bit away from one another. Let the legs rest against one another. Nice job, everyone. Stay here in constructive rest for a few breaths. Now go ahead and heel toe your feet back toward one another so they're again a hips distance apart. Extend your arms out to either side of the body with the palms facing up. Cross the right thigh on top of the left, heel toe, the left foot just a few inches closer to the midline. Inhale here, and as you exhale, let the legs fall over to the left. Spinal twist. Notice the right shoulder wants to draw away from the mat. That's fine. Just kind of steady it back toward the mat, back toward the floor. Give yourself a little traction so that we can optimize the length that we're creating here in this twist. You can always turn your head to glance over the right shoulder, or you can just let the head, the back of the skull, rest against the floor. Inhale, float the legs back up to center. Uncross them, place both feet back on the mat. Adjust your hips, and then cross the left thigh on top of the right. Heel toe the right foot a few inches closer to the midline. Inhale here, and as you exhale, let the legs fall over to the right, firming the left shoulder back toward the mat. And again, you can always turn the head and glance over the left shoulder, or just let the skull, the head rest where it is. Drawing the breath in, not only through the nose and mouth, but also through the left side ribs. Inhale, float the legs back up, uncross them. Inhale, draw the thighs and legs in toward your belly and toward your torso. You can rock side to side or forward and back. And use this time to take any last movement on your mat that feels nice. You can take a happy baby pose by threading your arms inside of your knees and taking hold of the outer edges of your feet. Or you can bring the soles of the feet together, either above the hips or on the mat. And on your next inhale, draw your legs back in toward the chest, toward the belly, and lift the forehead toward your knees. Bring all of your energy inward to this tight little ball. And as you exhale, release the legs. Reach through your heels to lengthen them, and then let the legs fall away from one another. You can allow the arms to rest alongside the body with the palms facing up. If that's comfortable for you, draw the shoulder blades once again underneath the upper back and soften the belly. Let the gut, the abdomen just be heavy. And another option for your hands are just to let them rest on your torso, either on your belly, one on your heart, one on your belly. I really like that variation. It can be grounding, it can be soothing. And set yourself up to stay here as long as is comfortable for you. And that's up to you to decide. So move through a few more cycles of breath, reminding yourself again of your intention. And then taking a few breaths to honor your effort, to honor your willingness to show up and do the work and practice the poses. And check in with how you're doing physically. And perhaps use that as an opportunity to check in a little bit more deeply. Knowing that no effort in this direction is ever wasted. Honor the ultimate teacher, the teacher within. Namaste.